I'll try and take my 3 minutes. I'll keep it short. But I think two things that come out. We're ready for the Speakers Roundtable. So I'll be working very closely with the Senate to make sure that we have it as soon as possible so that we can address these things in detail. Secondly, because of what I mentioned, the private sector devolution support program, I'll be inviting all of you once we present to yourselves in the areas that we can partner so that we make it work with the counties, because that's really where the work is. But let me address very briefly some of the things that came up, and then we'll go into the details when we meet together and have a full day with yourselves. On the manufacturing, you're right. The cost of production is our issue. So we've worked very hard with the last 10 years on the ease of doing business. So you can see our indicators, we've moved from 136 to 56. So we have streamlined processes like registering your company, paying your taxes, and all that. But the cost remains the challenge. And it's what is the cost to doing business. And that's why you're seeing even the things that we produced before, tomatoes, onions, now we are getting them from Uganda, Tanzania, because we can't produce here. And you were very clear, and you talked about the multiple levies and licenses. And we've raised this so many times. I'm really hoping that this is the Senate that will help us address that. We now have, and we worked again with Senate on the county own resource revenue bill. If we could implement that to the letter, then we'll address a lot of this. So just mentioning that so that we can go into the details. In terms of membership, yes, you're right. We really try to reach businesses. But unless you come to us, sometimes we'll not understand what the real issue is. And we can't just come out and say, this is happening. So that's why we keep saying, come to us, and the more you're part of us and our members, we understand you, we learn you, we know how to help you when the challenges are. And so I'll not go to the particular business, and that was a response to, because a question had come to us, and we have to respond, and we have to be honest with Kenyans and say this is happening. But after that, we did reach out and we said what is needed, and we've done that before, even 2015, and before that when the issue first came up. And so we are willing to work with every business. And the reason why I was saying let's provide the working spaces even for the small businesses, because we can find them. When they're on the streets, we don't know who they are. They're here today on this street, tomorrow they're in another street. It's very hard. But when they're in the markets, they're proper working spaces, we can find them. We run a lot of capacity building programs, credit facilities, working with the different partners, some of them who are here, access to markets, the value chains with the big businesses. But we need them where we can find them. And that's how we'll help the small businesses. And what we're saying for us, when we think about small businesses, it's just not creating many small businesses, it's scaling up those small businesses. That's our focus. That Mama Mboga cannot be Mama Mboga selling in that stall for 10 years. We want to say, how is she growing to even now? And what we've been doing, we've been running a program with Trademark East Africa, supported by the UK government, on what we call the e-commerce booster program, getting them to sell online. They don't have to travel to any other part of the country, but they can sell their goods. And that is a program. We have a relationship now with our counterpart, Corporate Council of Africa in the US, which we signed last year. Again, it's focused on SMEs. How do our SMEs sell their products to the US? How do they access? They're not the big companies who can be able to go to the US and get those markets, but we're trying to help them. So I'll run you down all the SME programs that we're doing when we meet, and we see how we partner with yourselves. And it's true, we defend our space. We're the largest so far business organization in sub-Saharan Africa, something we take pride, and we are really trying to organize other countries to make sure they can have the similar organizations and work with very many counterparts around the world that have the same, because we know if we are not organized, we are private sector-led economy, and so it's important that we develop business. Last two, and I can see the moderator has stood up. I've not finished my 3 minutes. And the last two, on health, yes, as I said, we are facing a crisis. It's the largest, the worst drought in 40 years. We have companies, you remember we ran Kenyans for Kenya in 2011, really to mobilize resources for our sisters and our brothers, because we say our businesses cannot thrive. I always say business operates on 3 areas. The economy, which is the profits, because you need to be sustainable. The social, because we need people healthy and people be able to, we cannot have labor if people cannot feed, people are not healthy, and the environment. So it's a triple bottom line, economic, social, and environment. And so this is a key area for us. We already have companies who've been doing a little bit right now. We are happy to do more. So if you're senators who come from the areas where there's drought, please do come to us and see how we can work together. We do have companies that are willing to support, and we're working with other development partners. On waste management, karibu sana. On waste management, I mentioned that we do have the bill in place now on waste management. We'll be looking forward to implementing that with yourselves. Again, we'll go into the details of that. So in the interest of time, all I'm saying, let's engage, let's get into the details of this. And we do have completely, as the senator said, do we have a plan? We do have a plan.